Good evening. Welcome in. Decided there was so much that is happening today. I've got the TVs in front of me and watching South Carolina Vanderbilt here to my right and Gonzaga, Arkansas, which the Razorbacks are up to. As I sit here with you, there's so much happening today that needed to do maybe a early game, the late show telecast, I guess is what you would call it. It's not a podcast, but certainly it is something that we like to do from time to time and an opportunity to speak about things that have happened in the sporting world. And today, there's a lot happening tonight. There is a lot happening today as South Carolina has hired their first African American coach. And it's a really cool event for the Gamecocks. Something I'm 39 years old, and we'll talk more about this obviously tomorrow morning and the excitement that is, but certainly it is a great event. And I thought Lamont Paris absolutely hit it out the park tonight. I thought he absolutely hit it out the park tonight as far as being able to go in and convince maybe the South Carolina fan base to follow him, to get on board. And I think we need to actually, you know, get excited about that. I'm a huge Frank Martin fan. I'm a huge Frank Martin fan, but Lamont Paris is going to be the new basketball coach at South Carolina, and what he did today, I thought was awesome. I will admit, I think Lamont Paris is the super smart guy that is a little awkward in social situations. We obviously had Gene Haney on this week from the Chattanooga Times Free Press, and we had the opportunity to talk to him. And he thought Lamont Paris would lose the press conference, and I don't think that's what happened at all. I thought Lamont Paris won the press conference, and so with all that being in mind, I still think that he was funny at times. He tried to be funny at times, but what I came away from today is that Lamont Paris is a super smart guy, and I think a great addition to the South Carolina roster of coaches. I really think he's a great addition, and I look forward to pulling for Coach Paris and seeing what he's going to do with this basketball program. I think there's a lot of questions as how the roster will be. I think there's questions to how he will schedule, as I said on Twitter. So we'll get into all that. I've got the televisions on. Gonzaga is now up by 5. South Carolina baseball is 0-0. And I've got the bourbon. We'll make it a fun little 30 or 45 minutes, and I hope you want to weigh in. Ben, David, Craig, Decor. I saw Hope hop in there. Josh, Robbie. Again, glad to have all of you be a part of what is a very kind of quick idea podcast, telecast, whatever we want to call this tonight. Obviously, tomorrow morning, bright and early, we'll be out at Windermere for the golf tournament. And I'm still, if my phone goes off, I apologize. We're still lining up some guests for tomorrow morning. Kyle Thompson will join us at 7:30, Chris Deering at 8:05, and who knows who else will join us, because it'll be a lot of fun out there at Windermere, and it'll be a lot of fun trying to talk about this basketball situation. But look forward to, as Hope just said, look forward to a new chapter. And I kind of agree. I kind of agree with you. I am excited about a brand new chapter for South Carolina basketball. I hate that it ended the way that it did with Frank Martin. I'll be perfectly honest. I was a good friend with Frank Martin. I played golf with him multiple times, and I hate that this is how it went down for him. But I don't disagree that at the end of the day, it was kind of time for change. It was new blood, new energy, new excitement was needed for South Carolina basketball. And while I think Lamont Paris, let me go back past tense, I thought Lamont Paris was a really good candidate. I didn't know what to make of him today. And look, a lot of y'all, I think, would agree with me when Lamont Paris got emotional talking about his parents. I might or might not have gotten a little emotional. There might or might not have been a tear or two that popped up in my eye because, man, that was a great moment. I mean, we're talking about a guy who just went from making, think about this, a guy that just went from making $250,000 per year coaching basketball. I'm going to take the hat off. There you go. Let me see a little bit brighter. Yeah, as Josh says, it got a little hazy. Yeah, it got a little, I was a little hazy. It was, but you talk about a guy who went from making $250,000 to $2.2 million, which I think is really fair. I think that's very fair for a basketball coach in this day and age, and I thought that was really cool. But to watch him get a little emotional was really neat. I think it maybe brought all of us a little bit more closer to who Lamont Paris is. I will admit, not knowing much about him, not knowing much at all about him. I didn't know what to expect. I talked to some players, I talked to some people who know him, but until you hear a person speak, it's hard to get a grasp of what's going on, right? Like it's hard to get a grasp of who that person is. And today we got a chance to hear Lamont Paris speak, and I think it's exciting. I think it's very exciting to see him now as a South Carolina basketball coach. And as Craig says, I'm with you. Can he go land? That's going to be the $1 million question. Can he go land GG Jackson now? Can he get out there and land GG Jackson? It's going to be an absolutely. There's a couple things that came across today. One, can you retain Devin Carter? I mean, Devin Carter is going to be a good player. That was a great recruit by Frank. That was a great recruit. Can you retain Devin Carter? And if you can, that gives you a lot of hope offensively. It really does. Look, Devin Carter's a good offensive player. And I really loved what Lamont Paris said about his offensive style. Hey, we're going to promote defense. We're here to play defense. We're going to give all our effort on defense. But then on offense, we're going to be more freewheeling. We're going to be a little bit more freestyle. And if they take a bad shot, I have to accept it. I have to realize it was a good shot. I loved what he said about that today. And it's an offense that I think if you're a wild offensive player, if you're a little bit aggressive offensive player, I think you're going to love. I think you're going to love it. And the bottom line is, I think for a guy like Devin Carter, I know Devin Carter, we have to be honest on this. Devin Carter came to play for Frank Martin. He didn't come to the University of South Carolina to play for this historic program that is South Carolina. We have to be honest about that. But he came to play for Frank Martin. So can Lamont Paris convince him to stick around? Because the offense that I was told today, that you heard, man, that's conducive to Devin Carter. Honestly, it's conducive to Jermaine Cousinard. It's conducive to a lot of the players that South Carolina has. Maybe not Wildens Leveque. Less shots, right? Less shots, Wildens. Less shots. Play defense and rebound. But I think that the offense you heard today was really conducive to a guy like a Devin Carter who can come in and, hey, take a few shots that we as fans are going to get upset about, that we as fans are not going to be excited about. But you know what, Devin? You're a good ball player. Go with your feeling and go with your gut as long as you play defense. And that can be said for recruits coming down the line. Cam Scott at Lexington, just, I don't know what that way for me. The lake's out that way. I got the door open tonight. Again, weigh in. What's your favorite bourbon? We'll cover a couple different topics here. But that offense that we heard from Lamont Paris today, Cam Scott right here in Lexington, that sounds conducive. You know what? If I'm GG Jackson, and I tweeted this earlier, I'm very interested to see what happens with GG Jackson and Lamont Paris, because there is something to be said. GG Jackson wants to stay home. That much has been documented. He wants to be an Asia Wilson type player. He wants to be representative of his community. Everything that we heard JoJo English talk about today, everything that we heard JoJo English talk about today is representative of what G.G. Jackson wants to be. He wants to be a homegrown star. A year, 2 years, it doesn't matter if G.G. Jackson stays home with Lamont Paris and you can pair him with Devin Carter. I'm a huge Taquan Woodley fan. I'm a big Taquan Woodley fan. I think he's got a ton of potential. I'm a big Wills Levesque fan. I think Levesque, in the right situation, can be really good. But G.G. Jackson, man, I tell you what, if Lamont Paris can go in there and sell himself, and I thought the thing today with Lamont Paris was he was genuine. I thought he was nerdy. I think Lamont Paris is the smartest guy in the room without being the smartest guy in the room. And I think sometimes we've been around those people, right? We've been around those people who are the ultra smart person and they're a little awkward. They're a little socially awkward. Lamont Paris made some jokes today that I laughed at. I knew because of Gene Haney a few days ago. Gene Haney had kind of prepared me for that, prepared us for that if you listen to the radio interview. And I thought that Lamont Paris was that guy who made a couple jokes and maybe they didn't hit home, but I thought they were really funny. Clarence, that's a great point. Let's get to that. Let's get to Clarence's point here. Josh Gray. Josh Gray would have to sit out if he transferred. I'm excited about Josh Gray's potential with Lamont Paris, because the one thing that worries me is he doesn't fit the idea of okay, guys that can score from every position. I think Lamont Paris is going to play almost that positionless basketball that we've heard about. So I'm excited. I'll take your thoughts here. I've asked you what kind of bourbon you might be drinking tonight. It's a pretty good one, Hayes. I like the Woodford Double Oaked. Again, I right now am wrapping up the Jeffersons. We went to Jeffersons tonight. I will admit, I've got a bottle of what's called Blackened. It's a different blend I found that was pretty good. Apparently, it's been aged in oak barrel caskets with Metallica blaring in the background, which is always a really good thing. So the Blackened, but I've switched to the Jeffersons, and Lauren is sitting over there. She is observing everything, and she will probably make me a smoked drink using the smoker here in a short period, and that's probably how we'll wrap up the program here. But I've got the South Carolina baseball game. It's 0-0 over there on the television, and it looks like the Gamecocks are at bat right now, but 0-0 for South Carolina and Vanderbilt right now. And then I look to my left, and I've got Arkansas and Gonzaga, and Arkansas is up 49-43. 10 minutes to go there in the second half. I don't know if I'm saying that properly because I probably should be giving right updates right on time. Villanova and Michigan. Villanova's up on Michigan 34-31 as well. So we've got that. Clarence is into the Gentleman Jack tonight. Trey, I'm not familiar with the William Allen. You may have to send me some information on that. That sounds pretty interesting. Joseph going with the Maker's Mark. Strong, Joseph. Very strong. Brian going with the Basil Hayden's. Cheers, Brian. We've been wanting to try the Basil Hayden's toast, I think is what it is, the new Basil Hayden's toast. And yes, is it toast? Okay. I'm getting direction from my left side as well. I've got my new producer tonight is over here to my left, just watching and joining along. Craig is into the Elijah Craig. That's probably correct. Craig with some Elijah Craig. Craig, I finished off a small bottle. I had a very small bit of Elijah Craig left earlier on, and I got into that. Brian, good to hear from you tonight. Certainly a big game tomorrow up there in Greensboro between Dawn Staley's team and North Carolina. So want everybody to weigh in. Yep, it's Lauren's here. She's all a part of the program. She's just over there. Dexter, Uncle Nearest. Not familiar with that one. I'll have to put that one in on some stuff. So we got a lot going on for us, and wanted to do a special edition tonight because, again, so many things happening, and obviously we've done this before. We've done it. We need to do it more often. We need to include our loyal early game followers and have fun on a night like tonight where we've got a lot of sports on. Again, Arkansas and Gonzaga 3-point game right now. That 9.5. We need to get our guy. Where's our guy, Troy? Hope. Where's our guy, Troy? Our Clemson guy, who rags on our boy Brian Edwards from Vegas Insider all the time. Right now, Brian Edwards plus 9.5 on Arkansas looks really, really good. The plus 9.5 on Arkansas looking really good. 9.5 minutes to go there. Arkansas up 3 on Gonzaga, and South Carolina baseball 0-0 in their game. And we haven't talked enough about South Carolina baseball, and I hate the situation that's taking place right now with them. 10-10, obviously, on the season, lost their last 4. And it's going to be a big question as to what happens with Mark Kingston moving forward. We can't ignore that, right? We have to be honest about what's happening with South Carolina baseball, and the bottom line is it's not a good thing. It's not. South Carolina baseball is the pride of the University of South Carolina, and to be 10-10 with losses to Citadel, and I know Citadel is not a bad program. I'm not trying to put them down. They're 14-6 on the season, but losses to Citadel, losses to Xavier. The bottom line is this is not the South Carolina baseball that we are accustomed to, and it's not something that we should grow accustomed to. South Carolina baseball should be one of the best in the country. They have the money, they have the facilities, they have everything that's possible to be one of the nation's elite. And South Carolina baseball does not need to be in this situation. Top of the 4th there, Vanderbilt right now, though. No hits, South Carolina with no runs, Vanderbilt with no runs. So we'll keep an eye on that, and we will continue on. Wanted to do the live stream. Yeah, Jordan, we need to do more of these live streams. Obviously, we did them in the past and would like to do them here in the future for certain events. This has always been a lot of fun for me. We can be a little bit more loose, a little bit more wild, and it's a fun night to do it with Arkansas and Gonzaga. But one of the reasons I wanted to do it was because of the hiring of Lamont Paris and the opportunity to talk about that tonight. Heath Klein did a fantastic interview with Lamont Paris. If you haven't heard it, go check it out on our 107.5 The Game website on the podcast page. Heath was fantastic today. He asked a lot of questions. I did not go to the press conference. That's the good thing about doing an early morning radio show now. You don't always have to cover things. I could watch the press conference from this computer right here, the one that I'm on right now. We were able to watch it, and I was able to watch it, and I didn't really have any major questions, but I thought it was fantastic. I thought the interview that Heath did was fantastic. And guys, girls, I'll be honest, I'm excited for the Lamont Paris era. I'm fired up. I was looking at the schedule. I think we should all get together. I think we should go to Charleston. The Charleston tournament is the 17th, 18th, or 18th, 19th. We play Tennessee in a home football game. I know that we play Tennessee I was looking at it. We play Tennessee in a home football game that coming weekend. And so we all need to get down there. We all need to go to Charleston. We all probably love Shem Creek or Folly Island, Folly Beach. Go out there and hang out. But go to those basketball games and support Lamont and this basketball team in November when they go to Charleston. It's a really great tournament. Penn State and Virginia Tech are the high major teams there. Davidson and Colorado State. Nico Medved got mentioned for this job, and obviously Davidson has been a very good team for a long time. They're your 2 mid-majors, and then you've also got Old Dominion. I don't know what our connection to Old Dominion is, but Old Dominion's in it. But then you've got College of Charleston and Furman. And that's going to be a really fun event, I think, for Gamecock fans. Charleston, obviously, Lauren and I are huge fans of Charleston. We love to go down there and take a vacation. I'm advocating for Austin's soccer tournaments to be in Charleston. I'm a big fan. Anytime his soccer academy says they've got a tournament in Charleston, we throw our hands up and say, sure, we'll go. Tough life we live. And but I think if you look at your calendars, Lamont Paris and South Carolina are scheduled to be down in Charleston. I think it's the 17th, 18th, and 20th. I think that's I deleted it off of my computer earlier as I was trying to get lined up for doing this. But I think that's a great tournament to go to. I think it'd be a lot of fun. And yep, Craig, I'd tell you, go hang out with your brother there. Tournament will be at College of Charleston, and they do a heck of a job. I was down there for Darren Horn's year. Dominique Archie hurt his knee against Miami in the championship game. And we'll see. So I don't know. But Joseph, you make a good point. Hard to trust in Ray Tanner and believe in Ray Tanner. He's catching a lot of heat right now. Here's what's interesting about Ray Tanner right now. It's perfectly acceptable. I'm in the same boat. I'm with you guys as a fan. As a fan, we look at Ray Tanner right now, and it's been a failure. That's the best way to describe it, right? It's been a failure. To put it mildly, Will Muschamp didn't work. That's putting it mildly, right? To put it mildly, Mark Kingston right now, and it's still 0-0, but Mark Kingston has struggled. But what if, and I'm just let's play the what if game for a minute. Let's just play the what if game for a minute. Follow me and enjoy me here on a Thursday night. What if Shane Beamer works out? What if Shane Beamer is that coach for South Carolina football? What if he is? What if Lamont Paris is that coach for basketball? Now it's an introductory press conference. That's what today was. I did see that, Jordan. That Ray and Lamont, they're all at Halls right now. They actually are. There's a picture on Twitter. What if Lamont Paris is the coach for South Carolina? The press conference was good. How does he coach? Darren Horn's press conference was phenomenal. I remember sitting there, 10, 11 years ago, 12 years ago, whatever it was, and Darren Horn's press conference was phenomenal. And I wasn't a Darren Horn fan before he got hired. I was less of a Darren Horn fan when I got to know him, and I was one that had some real interactions with him. But Darren Horn won his press conference. Absolutely won his press conference. And who knows if Lamont Paris will do the same. But how would it change our narrative of Ray Tanner if Shane Beamer does work out and Lamont Paris works out? You know what I want to say right now? I want to say 803-404-6100. Call in right now or text in. Well, we're not doing a radio program, so that wouldn't help me at all. A couple of you are weighing in on this. Let's go back to this, though. You can weigh in, obviously, on the right side. Jeff, appreciate Jeff. Always a good friend of mine. Says, any thoughts on the players not attending the press conference? It's not the NBA. I don't know how often players attend press conferences. And people have to realize those players came to play for Frank Martin. They did. That's exactly what happened. Those players came to play for Frank Martin. And that's how life goes. And they met Lamont Paris today. He talked about it. And he's got to earn their respect. He's got to earn that relationship. I think it's a good thing that you've only seen one guy who was a true Frank Martin guy. And I love that about him. Eric Stevenson was a true Frank Martin guy. And I'm an Eric Stevenson fan. I think Eric Stevenson was a very good player for South Carolina. But Eric Stevenson was a true Frank Martin guy. And the odds are Eric Stevenson is going to follow Frank Martin to UMass. Devin Carter is going to have a lot of other options. Devin Carter is going to have – Taquan Woodley is going to have other options. But I think the fact that you have not seen them enter the transfer portal just yet shows you they're willing to listen to their new head coach. And so, Jeff, to your thought, I don't read much into it. I don't read much, and I don't think you should. That doesn't mean there won't be transfers. That doesn't mean that those guys will stick, but I don't think you read very much into it and what will happen. Travis, yeah, I wondered that earlier. That was very quick, right? That was very quick that he mentioned the former players. JoJo English was awesome today. Funny thing, like I had talked to JoJo last night, and I knew JoJo's passion, and I knew his energy. I knew where he was coming. I knew, most of the time when you go to do a radio program, normally I'll talk to the people we interview, the day, the night before, just to have a feeling for how they're going to sound, what they're going to be like. And JoJo and I are good friends. We talked months ago, and I love JoJo. I mean, I'm 39. JoJo English was, man, he was he was basically God to me. I mean, that was when I was 7, 8, 9 years old. JoJo English, South Carolina basketball under George Felton, Barry Manning, Joe Rat. I remember my dad. We were driving through. My dad took me when I was little down to campus. I was little. I can't. I don't know, 7, 7, 8, 9, somewhere in that area. And we were driving down the road, and Michael Glover. If people know who Michael Glover was, he was the point guard for South Carolina, and back in those days, and we saw him walking the streets, and Dad pulled over and offered to give him a ride. I mean, what we're talking the 80s. Back then, I guess stopping and offering someone a ride was a lot safer than it is nowadays. But the bottom line is he pulled over, and Michael Glover got the car. Dad took him to his dorm. It was raining that morning. I remember that very vividly. And I remember my dad talking about that or telling me who Michael Glover was. And that was a really cool moment. And it's obviously, as I sit here now at 39 years of age in March of 2022, it stuck with me. And but JoJo English was number 4, man. That was number 4. And to have him on the program this morning, to have him talking about his time, that was an incredible. And it's funny, some of y'all probably saw me on the live stream. I'm worried about when we're doing the radio show in the morning. I'm worried about the clocks. In my mind, I'm thinking JoJo's going long. We got to hit 2 breaks. Oh goodness. I have messed up. Patrick's producing. I'm thinking, I have screwed the clocks up. JoJo's going way too long, and JoJo didn't breathe. JoJo this morning didn't breathe. I couldn't jump in. And say, "Hey, coach, all right, thanks. I appreciate it. We'll get you back on." My man was rolling straight through, and it ended up being a great interview. And I appreciate Jay and Terry and Heath and them all them playing. It was great insight. And so you're right. I wonder, Travis, if that got back to Coach Paris a little bit today. So we'll see. But it was a lot of fun this morning. And you're right. He even mentioned Frank McGuire today. I think he understands the importance. So we'll see. So certainly a fun day there. And again, the reason I did this, jumped on tonight, I love interacting with a lot of y'all, and we have a good community, a really fun community here on this live stream with a lot of you, and I hope you know how much a lot of you mean to me, even though I've never met you face to face. Being a part of our program, being someone that interacts with us each and every morning, I hope you know it means a lot. So I appreciate you jumping on with us tonight. Gonzaga, 5 minutes to go. They're down 7 right now. They're at the free throw line, and South Carolina baseball, first and second base there, and Vanderbilt's at the plate. So not a good thing for South Carolina baseball there. Noah Hall still on the mound. So this is true, and that's a good point, Joe. I sent a tweet to Joe earlier today. Joe's going to bring biscuits to the golf tournament. Bojangles will be the official, once again, breakfast sponsor of the golf tournament tomorrow morning. And Joe, I think, is going to get there bright and early with his biscuits. I'm expecting Joe. The golf tournament starts at 10. I'm expecting Joe at 7:30. I'm expecting Joe bright and early, 7:30. Lots of biscuits, breakfast for everybody. And then Joe's going to join us on air, and we're going to talk about Lamont Paris's interview today and his press conference and how it went. But Joe, we always appreciate you. Craig, I got my buddy Benjamin. joining me tomorrow. He is the golfer of the group and should be pretty good. Joe, I'm disappointed in you. You see this? You see, this is how, Joe, you're going to have to get there. I'm disappointed, but that's okay. I totally understand. So we'll have a good time tomorrow. If you can make it out and come and join Patrick and I and be a part, we'd love for you too. I'm very proud of Patrick and how he's grown into his role on the show and what he's done. I couldn't do it without him. I could not do the show without Patrick and Jen. We learned that this week. Trying to do this show, trying to do what we have built because of y'all. Because of y'all, what we've done, what we've built with the early game, the last few years, obviously. There's another person that we owe a lot of credit to, but what we've built the last few years and the way you guys have been a part of this, we appreciate you, every one of us, even if they're not here. I know they appreciate you. I think it's been a wild few years, and certainly not everything that I agree with, but it's been a fun few years, and I hope we continue this and continue to build it more and more, and we continue to grow this live stream and make it really something special. Um, Joe, you still got. I mean, it's 9 o'clock right now. It's 9 o'clock. You've got plenty of time to get over to the biscuit to Bojangles and get into the biscuit oven and get going. So you got plenty of time. So get going on that. Get going on that. We need a lot. And yes, that is 100% true statement, Jordan. That is 100% true statement. That is, I will not shy away from that. And yes, Craig, I got lunch with him recently. So he's don't leave your friends behind. Arkansas and Gonzaga. Gonzaga is in a lot of trouble right now. And I have Gonzaga going out to Texas Tech. I have Texas Tech eliminating them in the Elite Eight. The thing that sucks about doing an early morning show is trying to stay up at night for games. And it's 9:02 p.m. right now. We'll do this for about another 20 or 30 minutes and roll along. I'm glad everybody has joined this evening to talk about Lamont Paris. Again, this is fun to do. We got our bourbons. You want to make us a smoke drink real quick before we, Lauren will make a smoke drink for me and her. Maybe one night we'll be able to invite all the live streamers over here. Instead of doing a live stream, we'll just invite you all over, and we'll have a nice little time. So Ben, yep, get to Ben's comment. Yep, we'll definitely be online. We think we'll be online. When you're at an event, when you're at somewhere, you never know how it's going to go, but we'll see. So we will see. Noah Hall. Oh, look at that! You're right, Artia. They got out of the inning. Let's all clap. Little clap for that. Very good, very good. The Gamecocks get out of the inning, and they take a 0-0 game into what I believe is going to be the bottom half of the fourth, I believe. I've got the little tiny TV on that one over there in the right corner. I've got to reset my whole wall if I'm going to do this. I've got this wall. I've got fishing poles here to my right, and we can set this up. Hey, John from Somerville, good to hear from you. Good to see you. Glad you're a part of it. Lots of PGA talk for you, John. We're going to talk lots of PGA for the next 20 minutes, all because you're on. But I appreciate you being here. So, good question, Chris. What players do I see leaving the program? I think I'm interested in the coming days to hear the feedback from the players, because not that I thought everybody was going to be against Lamont Paris coming in, but the message that he gave today, I thought he really did well of promoting. It's not going to be the Shane Beamer philosophy, society, whatever you want to call it. Shane's his own character. I've known Shane since Shane was here in Columbia. back in the, the 2010, 2009, back in then. Shane is an energetic guy. He's a different brand of guy. And I think if you're a South Carolina fan, you'll love it. I think Shane is going to be I think Shane is an awesome fit for the football program. You know what? I actually think the Lamont Paris, who I really, and I'll say again, I said this at the beginning of this telecast, podcast, whatever we want to call it. What I thought about Lamont Paris today was that he is extremely smart. And I think we've all met these people that they're so smart that they're uncomfortable in public situations. And I was thinking back to what Gene Haney said on our program this week about Lamont being a different kind of person, and you got to get to know him. And he kind of alluded to that. I don't know if y'all caught that, if you've watched it, where Lamont Paris today said they were cutting up with him about impersonations, and they were talking about his Charles Barkley impersonation. And he mentioned he does a really good Morgan Freeman impersonation. He said, well, if you get to know me well enough, and I thought that was a huge phrase. If you get to know me well enough, I'm a lighthearted person. And I thought that was really interesting, because here's a guy who I think keeps his private life completely private. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that sports talk radio is some kind of, celebrity gig. I joke about it with Lauren. I joke about it with my kids. And I definitely make fun of Jen. Good Lord, I make fun of it with Jen about me being a celebrity or whatever. But I sometimes am willing to share more about my personal and private life with my kids than maybe I should. And I understand if you're a coach, if you're somebody who is important, who is completely followed and very, people are Wikipediaing you and really following you. I understand the need to keep your private life personal and to not let everybody dig into it. I think it's interesting what he talked about with social media today. But I get the impression that Lamont Paris is exceptionally intelligent, beyond, exceptionally intelligent, but he's a little awkward in social situations. So I don't think you're going to see him excel at Gamecock Club functions. I don't think that's where he's going to win the crowd. I don't think he's going to be good there. I think, though, he's going to fit with college basketball and recruiting and developing and building a program. And we'll see what he does. I just talked a little bit about the schedule, and we'll get back into it. Let's again, cheers. I hear the smoker going over there. We bought a Kraft Forteza. I think is it Forteza or Fortesia? Fortessa. I was way off. Fortessa. I'm sorry. I totally screwed that up. Craft House Fortessa Bourbon House Smoker. We bought one a few back for Valentine's Day, and Lauren is making us a lovely smoked drink this evening. So let's all take a minute, and I like what Kenneth has got going there. Brilliant decision. Brilliant decision. So we've switched more to just bourbon and a block of ice. Tonight I've had a little bit of Elijah Craig. I finished off. I didn't have a lot left. We had the blackened, which was really interesting. If you can ever try that, try the blackened. It's a different blend. I believe, Kenneth, it's by the same guy who used to make Whistle Pig, and now he's moved on to a different company, and it's pretty interesting. Craig, I took a nap today, and let's see, we'll switch here to Craig. Yeah, I might have had a couple prior to coming on. We're sitting here watching. We had a very good dinner, and now we're watching Arkansas Gonzaga and the baseball game here as Michael Braswell comes to the plate. But let's go back to basketball here and what we were kind of talking about. I think that Lamont Paris is a good fit for South Carolina. I don't think any of us can judge how he'll do. If you know how he'll do, it's 9:10 on a Thursday. You need to get to your local gas station and buy a lottery ticket and get us all a place to go hang out at in Isle of Palms. If you know how Lamont Paris is going to do, I think he may be really good. I can see where he could fail. I think there's a lot there to it. So, I think that that's really good. Todd, there's my good buddy Todd. I've grown up with him. He is one of the guys that I made fun of this morning on the radio show. The score currently, buddy, is 0-0, and Vanderbilt just got an out at second base. You can watch the game on ESPNU, or excuse, yeah, it's on ESPN2. I'm sorry, ESPN2. The South Carolina baseball game is on ESPN2, and Vanderbilt just got out of the fourth, I believe. You can also, of course, let me promote. You can hear the baseball game on 107.5, the game as well. Thank you, sweetie. All right, we got a smoked drink, as you can see, and we got the right glass, right? It's the way you do it. Cheers to everybody. Thank you, Todd. Yes, got our Gamecock glass. So, little bourbon discussion, little basketball discussion on what I think is a really fun night here with the Elite Eight, Arkansas and Gonzaga. Gonzaga in a little bit of trouble. Villanova up 54-48. There about 3.5 minutes to play in that game tonight. Villanova is my pick. My bracket is all the way over there. And Villanova is my pick to win the national championship. I had Villanova beating Baylor. I will say, I think that I'm excited to see if Lamont Paris can get South Carolina to the NCAA tournament. I would like to see that. That it stinks, to put it mildly. It stinks that in 40 years of living, I've seen South Carolina only play in an NCAA tournament 5 times, and one of those I was in first grade. One of those, or first or second, I think I was in first grade, and my mother substitute taught us that day, and my own mother, substitute taught us in first grade, didn't let us watch South Carolina versus North Carolina State in 1989, but I've only seen us in 4 NCAA tournaments, 2 under Eddie Fogler, that we all know the outcome of those games, and 1 under Dave Odom, which they played at like 12 noon on a Thursday, and we were eliminated before the tournament even got going. And then obviously the incredible run, which I'll still contend is the best South Carolina moment ever in the history of my lifetime. I've seen, and I'll say this a million times, I remember watching Aaron Rawl, a buddy of ours. Todd is asking who will win Duke and Texas Tech. I got Texas Tech, by the way. I got Texas Tech in the Final Four. But Aaron Rawl, who was a year younger than me at Lexington, I'd seen South Carolina. I had seen South Carolina play for national championships, be in the College World Series. That was incredible. Those were awesome. So I know, like, I've grown up knowing that South Carolina is really good at baseball. We're one of the nation's best. I had never seen anything like I saw with the Final Four run. I remember taking my kids. We went to Myrtle Beach. That weekend, and I watched us beat Marquette on Friday night. Was it Friday night? Yeah, Friday night. On Sunday. I feel like that's not right. No, on Thursday night. We beat Marquette on Thursday night. And then we beat Baylor on Saturday night, and I was at the beach with my kids, and we had a cheese and meat and cracker platter, and we're watching the game, and we're hooping and hollering, and it's the first we're winning. We're going to the Sweet 16, and that was incredible. And then obviously the next weekend it was what it was. We beat Baylor, and then we beat Florida, and then just absolutely insane. Absolutely incredible. And so and to go to the Final Four for South Carolina basketball, I don't think we'll ever see it again. I hate that I missed the trip. But absolutely incredible. But I hope Lamont Paris does it. I hope Lamont Paris is able to do it. Joe weighing in. I wonder if Javon Benson stays and gets an opportunity. I don't know. He does fit. What Lamont Paris described today offensively, 1 through 5, being able to shoot, being able to do this, being able to do that, Javon Benson does fit technically what he talked about. And I think that that's very interesting. And I think that that's going to be something to keep an eye on as it pertains to South Carolina basketball 1 through 5, who can shoot it, who can pass it, who can dribble it, who can do all the basketball fundamental skills. That's another thing I picked up. Now, what he's going to do offensively, what I got today, what I heard is that he's going to allow them to be a lot more free offensively. It's not a very structured offense. It's going to be a very structured defense. I got the impression today listening to, and by the way, it's 66-62 with under a minute to go here. Arkansas is up. If you're not watching the game, and it's, Gonzaga misses, big plays. If you're not watching, you need to flip over. Arkansas and Gonzaga here. Under a minute to go, and it looks like another number one is going to go down. Again, Arkansas was plus 9.5 today. Arkansas was plus 9.5 on the Vegas Insider websites, and our buddy Brian Edwards was obviously all over that. But to finish that point, Lamont Paris, I think, is going to have a structured defense. And I think the game plan will be centered. This is what I picked up today. So if you want to correct me, you can do so. The game plan will be structured around defense, with offense being more free-willing. And I'm not sure people are going to like that. There's going to be some bad shots. That's what I did take that away today too. As we watch this South Carolina team, you're going to see shots where your hat is going to get stretched a lot, pulled a lot, and slammed a lot. That's what I took from today, is that it's going to be a very defensive structured system, but he's going to allow those players to be a lot more free-willing on offense. Now, the good news is in the recruiting game, you're going to have guys who go, I want to go play in that. You're going to allow me to do what I want. That's great. I'll go be a part of it. And so we'll see. Yeah, Ferrari, I'm not looking at stats. JT Nolte, 29 shots. Yeah, I'm not saying that Lamont Paris is going to offer the ultimate green light. I will say that I think it's going to be something similar. Brian weighing in. Brian, I'll admit, Blanton's, I'm not as huge of a Blanton's fan as some people. I was at the liquor store the other day and we were talking about that. Buffalo Trace. You bring a good bottle of Buffalo Trace. I think our effort, we've got 3 bottles of Blanton's here. Lauren says you can bring her the bottle of Blanton's. Buffalo Trace. I have Buffalo Trace, Angel's Envy, Elijah Craig. I'm a big I like Elijah Craig. Elijah Craig is up there for me. But Angel's Envy and Buffalo Trace. I need to try another bottle of Eagle Rare. I probably have. I didn't like it the first time, but I'm willing to accept that maybe it was my fault and not Eagle Rare's fault. So, Blanton's is certainly very good as well. We've certainly been able to do that. Lamont is from Findlay, Findlay, Ohio. He went to school at. I'll have to look that up for you. He went to a very small school, and it's not one that I'm familiar with. He went to Wooster, Wooster, Wooster. He was an assistant at DePaul, not the one you're thinking of, DEPAUW. He was an assistant at IUP. Then he moved on to Akron, and then obviously a very long stint at Wisconsin. So I that's where he's from, but he's from Findlay, Ohio, and certainly did a very good job there. Craig, I agree with you. It was my mother passed away when I was 9. Actually, about this time, almost 30 years ago, April 4th of 1992, to be exact. So almost 30 years ago. And again, Lamont Paris has done a very good job of kind of concealing his private life, which he should. I don't blame him for that. That's perfectly understandable. I think it'll be interesting now. Let's be honest. He's coming to a market. Lamont Paris is coming to a market where there's a lot of Twitter savvy people and investigative sleuths sleuths, as we would like to say. So I think it'll be interesting what happens, but it's certainly something to keep an eye on. All right, I got potentially good news. I got really bad news. Vanderbilt is now up 2-0. Vanderbilt has put up 2 runs there in the tiny TV, I believe the 5th. I believe that's what that is, the 5th or the 6th against my little tiny TV. And the good news is that Arkansas has got the ball with about 20 seconds to go and a chance to win that game. Arkansas looking for a big upset. I don't know if we all consider Gonzaga the neat Cinderella they used to be. Sleuth. Thank you, Ferrari. Thank you. And then Hope, yeah, it's not a good thing there, buddy. Down 2-0. Noah Hall still owned the mound 2-0 there for Vanderbilt. Am I that far behind or? Oh no, I'm watching it. They're re-showing it. Travis, oops. Let's go back to that. No, I'm watching it. Yeah, this little he gets bumped. He kind of heaves it. It's going to go in. No, I saw that 68-65. Yeah, crazy. And Arkansas's foul. They'll go to the line. Arkansas winning is not so. We now know who's in Hope's bracket. We now know that she has Gonzaga potentially winning it all. That's good. I think are we not pulling for the SEC? Hope, are we not pulling for the SEC in this to win a few games? The SEC's had an awful NCAA tournament. Alabama went out in the first round. LSU went out in the first round. Kentucky went out in the first round. Tennessee went out in the second round. It's 4. Arkansas is 5. Auburn went out in the second round. Aren't we pulling for the SEC a little bit here? Like, aren't we pulling for the SEC to do something? That's what upsets our buddy on the text message line, Ray from Bowman, who sends in about 39 text messages per day, and just none of them. He's a Clemson fan, and Ray may be on here tonight, and I appreciate Ray. I've gotten to know Ray to some extent, and but yeah, isn't that what makes it fun? You pull for your conference. So okay, I'm sorry, just heck no. All right, I apologize completely. We will see what happens. I would, funny thing, Joe, is I coached John Reynolds at Lexington. John was a guard for me when he was in the 9th grade. Coached him. Got a funny story about him, and good kid. And I'm pulling for him. I hope he finds a great job. Funny story about John that I will share. His family moved to Mississippi. He once dated Brett Favre's daughter. John Reynolds dated Brett Favre's daughter. There's a true story there on that. But good kid, and I'm pulling the best for him. He's hoping that he latches on. He's very sharp, was an incredible basketball player. Played at the Citadel. He actually played at the Citadel. So very good kid. Hope something works for him. Waddy, I don't know about Brian Steele. You heard Lamont Paris talk today about his staff. What I thought was interesting about what Lamont brought up was the fact that he's going to focus on recruiting all by himself really for about 2 weeks. He kind of mentioned he's waiting on one of his assistants from Chattanooga to see if they get the job at Chattanooga. Other than that, he doesn't, he's not really in a rush to mention it. And he said some Shane Beamer-esque type stuff as it pertains to like, hey, we got a lot of people interested in our job. There's a lot of people that want to come here. He mentioned some NBA coaches. He said NBA assistants. He said interim NBA coaches. So it sounds like he's got a lot of interest. And I will say, I think that Lamont Paris does need to hire a very good bench coach. If he's going to be a recruiter, you're definitely going to hire a second recruiter. And then you got yourself and you got 3 assistants. And if you got yourself as a recruiter and a coach, hire another stud recruiter and then hire a bench coach. And you can make the case, Brad Underwood, maybe Matt Figger, Perry Clark was definitely a good bench coach. You need a good bench coach. You need a guy. You don't need to always necessarily have a guy who can go out and land you five-star recruits. You need one good bench coach over there to really help you out. And I hope whether it's an NBA guy or a college guy, whatever it may be, I hope Lamont Paris hires one good bench coach that's not necessarily a recruiter and can go out and do things. Good to hear, Victoria. Victoria, I was showing this is a good friend of mine, Victoria Boyce. I was talking about her the other day. My daughter was going through yearbooks. You talk about getting old. My daughter found my old college, high school yearbooks, and Victoria, I was explaining to her about you and Kyle. And she saw Kyle. It was our senior yearbook, and I think what was Lauren? Do you remember what Kyle was? Kyle was most likely to end up on a. He was most likely to be a smile or dental commercial. Yeah, Kyle's a doctor now, but yeah, we were looking at y'all the other day, and Victoria is a good friend of mine, and has gone on to do. They do. She's fantastic, and has a great family there. So cover of a magazine. That was what it was. Thank you. Yes, Kyle. Tell Kyle we all said hello. He's a fantastic guy. Y'all have a fantastic family. To your thing, I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot going on for Lamont. Obviously, Lamont, a lot going on for JoJo, and what did it get to him today? I hope it did. As I said earlier, man, that was really cool with JoJo this morning. I think I laughed. I was telling people throughout the day. I really think I only asked. I think I asked, "Do you play golf?" And then I asked, and I was going to ask. I was starting the question of how can Lamont connect with the Columbia community, and he cut me off, and he talked for I think 21 straight minutes before Patrick or I said something, and that was awesome. Though I'm thankful for JoJo. I'm thankful for our program. I'm thankful for him being able to spread the word. So Arkansas, by the way, has knocked off Gonzaga, and we've got that. Arkansas has knocked off Gonzaga. Eric Musselman is giving a WWE style interview on the television, and the Razorbacks are into the Elite Eight, and they will play the winner of Texas Tech and Duke. I've got Texas Tech winning. I've got Texas Tech. Lauren says there goes her bracket. Yeah, well, we're all losing to my son Austin. Austin is dominating us here. So, but yep, Arkansas has won. Villanova is up 59-53 with about 23 seconds to go. Looks like Villanova will hold on in that game. So we've got that. And as far as it pertains to the baseball game, Travis, yeah, it looks like things are going downhill. Joe, good luck to you if you're still on. Look forward to Bojangles in the morning. Appreciate you bringing that. So it's been fun. I wanted to do a late night edition of the early game and certainly get everybody involved. And we want to do more of these. There are things that we can do, obviously, with this live stream as news breaks or happens, and I want to be more a part of that. So I want to thank everybody for coming. We've got our smoked drink, and as you can see, you might not always agree with me, but you know where the heart lies, and we're pulling for Lamont Paris. I'm pulling for Lamont Paris, and pulling for whatever the baseball team will do, and certainly pulling for Shane Beamer. We're going to end it. We're going to call it a night. It's 9:30. There's probably a lot of you that are parents, and you need to go to bed, or you need to go get in bed and watch some great basketball. So I appreciate all of you coming to tonight's early game, the late edition with me. And it's been a lot of fun, and I look forward to seeing all of you, because I really do hope you understand. I'm dead serious. We will do something at the Village Idiot in the near future to thank all of y'all for what you do for us on the live stream. I hope you know I'm very appreciative. This has been a dream to obviously be able to do this job. It's an easy job. You talk sports. a lot of you have far more serious jobs that you have to do every day, and I do a stupid job and we cut up. But we will do something at the Village Idiot in the very near future, and I would like all of you to come out and be a part of that and enjoy that. Patrick and Jen, we're all very appreciative of each and every one of you. So I hope you have a great night. I hope to see you on the live stream in the morning, and I hope the best for you and your family. Take care and have a good night. Have a great weekend.